She cheated and I paid for it. It started like any other night. My girlfriend of 5 years and I decided to hit the backroads for a little joyride, the kind of simple fun that had become a tradition in our small town. We grabbed a rack of beer, invited my younger brother, 18M, and his lady friend to join, and set off into the night. I had a few beers, 3 or 4 at most, but called it early. I had an early shift the next morning and didn't want to overdo it. They dropped me off at home, promising they'd keep the night alive for a bit longer. I kissed her goodbye, figuring she'd be back in an hour or two, then climbed into bed. Sometime in the middle of the night, I woke up, my bladder screaming for attention. As I shuffled to the bathroom, I noticed her side of the bed was still empty. A quick glance at my phone showed no missed calls or texts. I shot her a message, something casual, and went back to sleep. By the time my alarm blared a few hours later, she was home. She bounced into bed with an almost suspicious amount of energy, waking me up with morning sex like everything was perfectly normal. At the time, I didn't think much of it. I showered, kissed her goodbye, and headed to work. Weeks passed, and then came the bombshell. She was pregnant. My heart raced. We weren't planning for kids, and I'd always been meticulous about using protection. But accidents happen, right? We chalked it up to a defective condom. After some tearful conversations, we agreed to terminate the pregnancy. It wasn't an easy decision, but we faced it together, or so I thought. I took time off work to support her through it. I drove her to the clinic, paid for the procedure, and spent days making sure she was comfortable and cared for. Looking back now, I realize how blind I was. I thought I was being a good partner. Instead, I was being played. It wasn't until years later, after we'd broken up, that I learned the truth. My younger brother and I were catching up over beers when her name came up. It was a casual mention at first, but he stumbled over his words, his face turning red. Something was off. I pressed him, and that's when he cracked. Apparently, the night I went home early, they dropped his lady friend off shortly after. That left just the two of them driving aimlessly. One thing led to another, and she parked the car. According to him, she initiated it, but he didn't stop her. He didn't even try. Hearing this, I felt like the floor had been ripped out from under me. I couldn't believe it. My girlfriend of 5 years, the woman I thought I'd marry one day, had cheated on me with my own brother. Worse, the pregnancy I'd grieved and paid to terminate wasn't even mine. For a long time, I didn't know how to process it. I wanted to be angry at her, at him, at myself for being so blind. It wasn't until another mutual friend confirmed the story years later that it all truly sank in. She'd taken advantage of both of us in different ways, and I'd been too trusting to see it. Now, looking back, I see all the cracks I missed. The signs were there if I'd only paid closer attention. But hindsight is a cruel teacher, and some lessons come at the cost of everything you thought you knew. TLDR, girlfriend of 5 years got pregnant by my brother and had me pay for the abortion. Found out by accident years later.